Hello, I'm Rhonda O'Neill, Curriculum Specialist for Wayne County Schools, and I'm here to share some literacy tips with you and your families. In the state of West Virginia, they have developed a new campaign, Ready, Read, Write, that is engaging our teachers, our administrators, our families, and our partnerships, as well as our communities, to get into reading. And just like before, you'll see my colleague, Kelly Arthur. She is going to share with you how numeracy comes to play, the math line into our families. And here's a video from the State Department.
Ready, Read, Write West Virginia is the state's effort to increase literacy for all students. Why is this initiative so important? The ability to read is the foundation for learning success. Math, science, and social studies are built on reading and reading well. The research is clear. Students who cannot read at proficient levels have difficulty finding success in the workplace later in life. The West Virginia Department of Education is working with urgency to equip educators, families, community members, and partners with the tools and resources to address literacy gaps in our schools. Ready, Read, Write West Virginia uses the science of reading to build literacy skills for children, from the youngest learner to the older student needing additional supports. The science of reading is the result of more than 30 years of research that proves how the brain learns to become a proficient reader and writer. The West Virginia Department of Education is working closely with county school systems to make sure educators have the tools, training, and resources needed to use effective instructional strategies in the classroom. For those outside of the school community, important resources are being continuously collected and shared. This will allow our stakeholders to support reading and extended learning beyond the classroom. This literacy initiative is among the most important programs in our state because it will equip our children with the building blocks for advanced learning. This allows them to grow the skills needed to participate in the emerging economies of West Virginia and beyond. Ready, Read, Write West Virginia will be successful through our united efforts to support our readers of today and our leaders of tomorrow. To learn more, visit readyreadwritewv.com.
And what they're sharing with you, we have an abundance of research, the science of reading, that has been from many researchers that has put into play what does reading look like and how can we help our kids in the early ages to have that success. House Bill 3035 gave us the Third Grade Success Act. And what that's giving to our schools in the district is teacher training. We're getting extra professionals. We're learning how these 5 pillars of reading can add to our students' success in the classroom and throughout their educational career in our school system. The 5 pillars include phonemic awareness, and that's where we're working with what are the sounds of the letters that we're seeing and hearing. And then the phonics are embedded in what are the rules when we're saying, what does that short O say? So, ah. So we're looking into the phonics piece. Fluency is how well our students are reading what they've learned from the phonics continuum. How does it sound? Does it have that story time feel? And then vocabulary is what we're looking into. Our students come to us with an enormous vocabulary line because we're talking with our kiddos at home. We're doing some nursery rhymes. They're learning words like delicious at age 3 because they're hearing us say that when we're talking at dinner time. And then finally, once we get these 4 top pillars in place, then we're going to see how it lends to our comprehension. We want to build comprehension throughout our narrative reads, our fairy tales, our nursery rhymes, and then we want to see what about nonfiction? Nonfiction is all around us. How does our world work? How does the car work? How do we fix a toilet? So reading all those informational texts, and that's what we're learning with that K through Third Grade Success Act. We're going to encourage our kiddos to get these 5 pillars of reading mastered. So we're going to have those extra teachers in the classroom. that are going to support the small group instruction to where our kiddos can fill those holes that they need to fill up within those 5 pillars. Additionally, when you're looking their early years, when those kiddos, when you're seeing kids at church, when you're seeing them on the playground, you're seeing them interact with each other, but also they're already learning what that big M means on the billboard for McDonald's. They're seeing, oh, that looks like an arch. And then they're hearing talk from grandparents. Grandparents is different talk because we're just all about oohing and awing about our grandkids. So then we also have those times to where they're learning this is a cup. They're saying more. So they're learning these pieces, and then they're having their favorite toys. So this is those early years that we're also into music. We're hearing those songs, the ABC songs. We can hear the little nursery rhymes like Hickory Dickory Dock. So this is what we're getting with our kids in that early years. And that's what you'll see in our pre-K setting. And then we're moving on to what you can do at home with those early years. Take them into the garden. I know with my grand right now, she's all about what are we doing to do with the flower bed. So I'm saying, well, first we have to debride it. So I'm using those big words with her. So she's going, okay, Mumsy, this is what we're going to do today. Where's the seeds? So we're talking those conversations, and she's in school. But then here comes the little other grandchild who's not even in school. So he's hearing those conversations. So then we can plan dinners together. Even we ran a little errand the other day. We had to go get some flour at the store to get we were baking pancakes. We were trying to make them. So even that talk time with, okay, let's get in the car. Let's put on our seatbelt. Okay, what do I have to do next? She goes, well, turn on the car. So I'm doing sequencing with her. So all these little activities are embedded with wonderful conversations that we have along the way. So any family activities, those kids love to talk. But then they can see that we're making that reading time important. So I'll say, ooh, I got a new book today. And when she was younger, she got the Dolly library. The Imagination Library sent to her house. So she's like, Mumsy, I got a new book today. So that's where we were embedded reading, and that's where it starts with in our Wayne County schools. You can sign up for that. In our pre-K setting, they're sharing those books with our kids. So it's important to show them that reading is important. So sit down and read. You're reading a book, then they're reading a book. So that imitation piece goes a long way with our littles. And then also what I like to do is pick up the pencils, pick up the Crayolas. You can do a lot when you're writing together. So then we'll say, I'll make a list for the grocery store, but she could draw the pictures that I need. If I need eggs, then she can just draw a picture of an egg. So the first pieces of writing for the little ones are drawing pictures. So then she can tell me what I need on my grocery list. So that beginning writing sequence is really powerful when you're looking to blend the reading and the writing together, because that's the additional pillar. You saw 5 pillars within that embedded research, but we all know it ties to the writing, because our kiddos are still writing even if after school years. My son would say, oh, I have to write this paper about electromagnetic super speed highway. And I'm like, yes. And I said, see, you're still writing. So it's still embedded way beyond your young days. And this is what I like to do too. With your children at home, they might have a certain interest. So assist them with topics that might interest them. If they're looking for books, take them to the local library. Our libraries are there to help you find nice books that are first picture books, and then you can lead them into chapter books. So visit your local library, because some of them are still housing the Star Wars, the Minecrafts. They're wanting that space time. But also visit them with the websites, because it's always a good idea to be with them when they're trying to navigate the websites and learn how they can grab research at their fingertips. And we want them grabbing those powerful websites that are complementary to their learning. So just support them in their background knowledge. If they want to learn about a garden, is it time to plant the garden? Then when should we do it? What seeds grow best beforehand? So this is where you can look up the West Virginia Extension Agency and say, oh, they'll send you even seeds. So my grandchild and I signed up to get seeds from that. So that's where you can visit their interest, and then we can read on the package what we should be doing with those seeds once we get them. So follow your child's interest. And this is a neat one that I've incorporated into tell stories about your family. They all love to talk about animals. So we have lots of animals to talk about within our family. In one house, we might have Gus, and he's a bigger black dog to talk about. But then when we visit another farm area for the kids, then there's Reggie the rooster. So then we're talking those stories, and kids love to tell you stories. So sit down and listen to them. And that's just as well as playing with bubbles. Bubbles are just that natural image, and then she'll say, well, how do you make a big one? How do you get so many ones? So this is just that telling stories as to how to make big bubbles. Some of our families get to go to different settings, like going to the beach. Sometimes they go camping. So it's always good to come back and share and tell those stories. What we're seeing is the more time you're talking with those kids, that's building their vocabulary. They're going to be better ready to have success in reading those books. They're going to have more knowledge. So as they come with those rich vocabulary pieces, your kids are going to be well equipped to read those words in print once we teach them the phonological pieces and the phonics pieces. So it's neat to share stories with your kids. And also there's some nice videos from the State Department that provide those family tips. So I'll share those too, how to navigate to get to those at the end of the presentation.
Okay.
Some other things I like to do with your kids, it involves talking, writing, and reading. And like Kelly was sharing with you earlier in hers, there's a little math involved. So I always ask them, if we're cooking a recipe, how many eggs do we need for our pancakes? So we're looking into that. Sending a birthday card. That's where you're seeing how to address an envelope. So those are the little skills that may be not a standard to teach, but it's something important, having that signature practiced. Making a list for the store, as I shared before, but that singing together has a lot of that phonemic awareness, because you're trying to figure out what sounds you are trying to sing as you sing the alphabet song. So make sure that it's A, B, C, D, and you're not going ABC too fast like my little grandson does at this point. So making sure to share nursery rhymes, that repetition that the kids are hearing those sounds are very nice to integrate in. Counting cups of flour. You can say, how many cups of flour do we need for our pancakes today? So then you can talk about leveling off the cup, but then I'll say, how many cups? 1, and then she'll fill it up again, and then she'll have 2. So we're practicing, and for the young ones, they're not even in school yet, but they're hearing what we're saying. So they're already growing. The one grandchild who's not enrolled in school yet, he's already counting to 10. So that's what he's learning from our other conversations. And playing word games, that's fun to do in the car. So if you're driving in the car, coming home from Sunday school, then you can say, well, give me another word. For green, I spy with my little eye something green. And, sometimes you'll just get grass and you win the game on that one. But what you can do at home, it's always nice. Once your kiddos get into the daily routines of coming to school, they have usually a nice folder. And pull it out and talk with them. I know we've got busy lives at this time, But the more that we interact with their daily routines, then they'll see it's important. So I'll say, oh, what's in your folder today? So go ahead and pull it out, because there's usually, the teachers are so well versed with giving you what should stay at home and what the parents need to read and work on with our kids. They'll also share with us weekly newsletters. So don't forget that your teachers are trying to share with you what the spelling words are for the week, what they're going to be doing in class, and how we can help them. Because the more that we're providing those practice pieces of reading the shared stories a couple more times at home, that way our kids are growing in that mastery of those 5 reading pillars. So our kids are going to have success as our teachers share this with you. And don't forget, we always can share communication through our Schoology. Sometimes our teachers have Dojo. So whatever your child's teacher is using at that time, it's all about sharing and making those connections so we can give our kids the success they need. And sometimes we'll do the little phone apps. I know sometimes in sports, I think I have a little remind app that tells me, when those storms were coming through, we needed that communication, that practice wasn't going to happen. So this is where, just take all these opportunities that are given to us to lend to the success of our students. And remember, read to, read with, and read together with your child. That'll be the best practices that you can find to have that reading embedded into your lifetime in the evening, that you get those kids back into your home. Well, thank you. And then visit the videos from the State Department that I'll include at the end. Some literacy tips on how you can be engaged with your kids at home. Thank you for your time.